So if you move down just a little bit further, we have a few N64 games. So these nice racks that came with N64 magazine, if you were nice racks. So you got, yeah, these came with N64 magazine. I don't know if you can remember that. So there's a few of my favourites in here. The Lilac Wars, F-Zero X, Zelda, Mischief Makers, Ridge Racer 64. Fan of the Ridge Racer series. And over here, as we started with it, one in my top 10 games list. I think it's in a few people's top 10 games list. GoldenEye, another one. Banjo-Kazooie. In fact, I think there's the Rareware tray. You've got Banjo-Tooie, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, Banjo 1, Donkey Kong, GoldenEye, and all that. And we have a cupboard underneath all this lot, which houses. Oh, what does it house? I wonder. Xbox games. So nice, that Vib ribbon poster there, classic. So I like the Xbox. I think it's a really good console. I think out of all the last generation PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, for a long time, Xbox was my favourite because there are just some great, good quality titles on there. It's great to have the hard drive to save your games on the console, and graphics. I think still to this day it really stands up as one of some really good looking games on Xbox. So you've got the usual Xbox favourites in there, obviously Halo and Halo 2 and GTA Double Pack, Fahrenheit, Dead or Alive, Capcom vs SK2 I've got on the Xbox. I've also got it on Dreamcast as well, Japanese copy of it. Really good looking games with Otogi 1 and 2, Prince of Persia, I mean that's a good game, Outrun, Red Dead Redemption coming out soon. Red Dead Revolver was great arcade style shooting. Oh, I love that. And cheap too. You can track that down, which is quite easy to do. Terminator 3 Redemption is possibly the best Terminator game ever. Michael second that.
Oh well, yes.
Yeah, really great game. Lots of fun just shooting stuff. And got Monkey Ball again because it had a few extra levels on that one. I got it cheap. That's the deluxe version. It's got Monkey Ball 1 and 2 on there. See, into the fighting games, SVC Chaos, not bad, you know, it got a bit of stick, but I think it's quite fun. It's nice to see the Capcom characters in SNK style. A few stars. Stubbs a Zombie, now that's a game, I like games with a sense of humour, and like, I've got Destroy All Humans, someone's borrowing that at the minute, but Stubbs a Zombie is another game with a good sense of humour that I enjoy. Psychonauts, great game. Panzer Dragoon Orta, get that, fantastic. I love that series. Yeah. Godzilla! Godzilla Destroying Monsters. And again, Mike knows how good that is. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, there's the Xbox stuff. Down here you've got a few, this is kind of where I keep a lot of accessories, but odds and ends. There's even CDI game there. Peter Gabriel's, well, it's not gamer, it's more of an interactive thing, as the CDI was more of that kind of console. Pete Gabriel's Secret World, Wii Zapper, bongos. This is a great gun for Xbox, that one. What's it called? The Sharpshooter. Use that for a bit of House of Dead 3. One then picked up for like 20p from work. So work at Game, as Michael well knows, he works at Game as well, so does Dave. Hence why we own quite a few games, because it's very tempting working in a game store. VMU there, videos and stuff. So down here you've got a few of the consoles I've got. Now, I've recently acquired this one. I'm going through a bit of a Pokemon phase at the minute, having got the Soul Silver and really enjoying that, just like I was a kid again, you know, enjoying the Pokemon. So, my favourite colours are blue and yellow together, so I thought that really cool looking console, that. A few pads for that. My Super Nintendo, I've got one of these ones where it's been modded so you've got switches so you can play NTSC, top's been modded so you can fit the American cartridges in. A lot of good Super Nintendo games, it's nice to be able to play the full library of them. And again, selling into fighters, so there's a few fighters that, you know, didn't come out over here that you can get now for the Super Nintendo. And NES, down there. And my Xbox, going back to the retro again, my first console, the Master System. It's the shelf of all my Master System games. I don't think there's any more games after a Master System really. I think I've got quite a good collection here. You've got, I love the Sonic on Master System, the first one. Really great game that. Well, a lot of these games have nostalgic value again because I had them as a kid growing up, and a few I've actually recently acquired, like Asterix. That was a game like when I was a kid, you know, I wanted that, really into Asterix, and finally I got around to getting that, so it's cool. Master of Darkness is an interesting one. It's a bit like Castlevania. Not half as good as Castlevania, but it's got a cheesy kind of horror quality about it, and kind of a unique atmosphere. So, just trying to pick out ones that are a bit more obscure that you might not be so familiar with that I can recommend. One of the hardest shooters, just moving little Donkey Kong there, that was a present from Mike. Thanks for that, Mike. Power Strike. Overhead shoot 'em up. I think it's quite well regarded as a Master System game, but it's bloody hard. Here I go again. But seriously, try and get past the first level on that, you've got to be good. R-Type. R-Type. Oh, R-Type. I think everyone likes R-Type, don't they? Okay, well, just down from that, sticking with Sega, sorry. Down here you've got Dreamcast Games. These are all my PAL games. I've also got like a boot disc for Dreamcast, so I've got a few Japanese titles as well. Again, for the fighting games mostly. So, I love the Dreamcast, great console. I can remember the first time I saw Soul Calibur really sold it to me. I couldn't believe the graphics on that, little things like hair moving, that seemed to be a big thing for me at the time. Soul Calibur remains in my top 10. Maybe go as far as saying greatest fighting game of all time. Perfect in near enough every way. I don't think the sequels ever managed to live up to that. And of course the Dreamcast, I was going to say the only console we can play Shenmue. I should correct myself. The only one we can play Shenmue 1, which is another one of my favourites. And I love the sheer scope of Shenmue 2, but Shenmue 1, I think, as an experience, is a classic. Nothing else quite like it. Skies of Arcadia. Not a big fan of RPGs actually, but that one's got a lot of charm, and it's a great game on Dreamcast. Popular one too. So, fighting games again. Capcom vs SNK. Let's pick a few out here. Dead or Alive 2 is one of my first Dreamcast games as well. Great fighter. So many. Marvel vs Capcom. Obviously Capcom 2, Power Stone 1 and 2, Street Fighter Third Strike. Gosh, it goes on. Alpha 3. Of course the Sonics again. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. And here's an import one. The American copy of Seaman. Oh, Seaman, yes. Seaman. My Seaman, how many times can I say Seaman in one sentence, died recently. You know, it's just so much work keeping this thing happy, feeding it like every day. So, unless you really got a lot of time to spare, Seaman is, to get the most off us, you do need to pay a lot of attention to it. But unique game again, and another one that, I think there was a PS2 version of Seaman actually. But the Dreamcast is, if you want to play it, you can get that on import. Yeah, so moving down from that is a new kind of shelf of games, reasonably new. Wii was the last console I picked up, and I think will be for quite some time now. I haven't got a 360 or a PS3. I kind of feel like I've got a lot of those type of games already on Xbox and PS2, and the Wii was something different, and you've got to love Nintendo, so we're in place we can play Mario, for instance. So I decided to pick up a Wii, and been loving it. I got some selection of games there for it. A few favourites would be New Super Mario Bros. Was the first game I got on my Wii. That is a fantastic game. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which Blast Poster viewers have heard about before, but really is great. And I go as far as saying that it's having Double Dash already. I'm not in too much of a rush to get Mario Kart because I've got that. Monkey Balls again, like me Monkey Balls, like me Fighters, Smash Brothers. Do you know about Smash Brothers? I wasn't a big fan of Melee. That was the first one I played. I hadn't played the N64 one. But Brawl converted me. I don't know what it was. Maybe playing with the controller like that. That's how I like playing Brawl, which I know a lot of people are familiar with the game, prefer the GameCube controller. But I like using the D-pad for my fighting games. So, I don't know, I love that game, it's great. And of course, if you like Capcom fighting games, you've got to have Tatsunoko versus Capcom, or as Mike and I like to call it, Taku Taku Taku.
Taku Taku Taku.
For some reason. I know how that came about, Mike. Trauma Centre's good on the Wii as well. I like them, and WarioWares, and of course you've got the Wii Sports games, and they're always great. So if you come down from the Wii stuff, you've got a few more consoles. PS1 console there. Late adopter to the PS1, very late again, like most consoles. I try and get them when they're pre-owned and cheap and they're going out, and then it's always get all the games quite quickly, quite cheaply. This was another thing I got from work when we were getting rid of them. And it's PS1. It's got a little, there's a boot disc in it because we've just been playing some Japanese PS1 games. That little tab there lets you, well, tricks the system into thinking this tray is short, or, you know, there's a technique, isn't there, for playing those games, so that's that. Dreamcast with microphone for Seaman. I haven't taken it out since he passed away, tragically. Great console. I've been through a few Dreamcasts. Dreamcast is the most unreliable console I've ever owned. You know, I still keep, you know, I've got like a spare selection of Dreamcasts now that I managed to pick up quite cheap, just because I know I'm pretty certain this isn't going to last forever. I think this is my original Dreamcast that I ended up fixing. But there we go, moving on. There's the Wii. A few little figures on there as well. Darkstalkers, King of Fighters, Mario, of course. Recent acquisition of today has found its place on top of the PS2. It's the Panasonic 3DO with Samurai Showdown in there. Not much to say about that at the minute, but I remember my uncle had one, and I used to quite enjoy playing on it. There was Captain Quasar, and this version of Street Fighter 2 is really good on it. And so I managed to pick that up at a reasonable price recently. Thought it might come in handy for a blast process feature, perhaps. And PS2, again, got it quite late on. Just experienced some of the great games that are available for it. PC pads, and so on and so forth. So, speaking of PS2, in this corner here, we have PS2 games, which I think we've acquired quite a few of over the time of having a PS2, which has been a while now, I guess.